Bold predictions for Buckeyes and Broncos is here. Tim May, the 41-year vet, Andy Backstrom, and me, Spencer Holbrook. It's the funnest tweet time we have all week. It's the best time of the week because we're going to make a bold prediction. We're going to make an offensive player of the game prediction. We're going to pick the defensive player of the game. Then we're going to give you guys the score. Tim will be
going last.
No, you're going first, Tim, because I let Andy go first last week. You're going first, Tim. Ohio State, Western Michigan, prime time in the Horseshoe.
Yeah.
Tim, bold prediction.
I'm going to go the one I had last week because I think it's going to happen this week. Ohio State's going to score on his first 4 possessions offensively. Its first 4 possessions offensively. It doesn't count a scoop and score or an interception return or a punt return. Ohio State's going to score on his first 4 offensive possessions where they actually run at least one play from scrimmage. Final bold prediction.
Going back to the well. I like it. Andy?
I'm going to say that Ohio State runs the football better this week. Chip Kelly talked about wanting to get those totals up in carries for Quinshon Judkins and Travion Henderson. I'm going to say that Ohio State runs for 200 yards and Quinshon Judkins and Travion Henderson combined for a total of 3 touchdowns in this game against Western Michigan.
I am going to be quite bold with this, but on Wednesday night we were in the Woody Hayes Athletic Center and there was a topic du jour, special teams. I think Ohio State is going to score in all 3 phases of this football game. Finally get that punt return for a touchdown. Brandon Ennis get to celebrate a punt return for a touchdown.
But you're covering your bases there because it could be a blocked punt.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a kick return. Jaden Ballard was really close to that opening kickoff.
Yes,
Ryan Day was not happy that thing didn't go for a touchdown. He was ready for it to go.
He thought it could pop.
And it didn't. And so I think they're going to get it right this week against Western Michigan. The only hesitation I have is that Western Michigan already might figure out Brandon Ennis is really good at this, and so they won't kick to him. But I'm going to say Ohio State's going to score in all 3 phases of the game. I think they're going to have an offensive touchdown. I think we can safely assume that one. Defensive touchdown, that might be a little difficult, but because they just had 2, and those things are pretty difficult to get. But it's Western Michigan. This is Ohio State. You should be able to do that.
Okay.
And then we'll get a special teams. Offensive player of the game, Tim.
Didn't I pick Will Howard last week? I think I did, didn't I? Didn't I pick Will Howard?
You
Y'all are young whippersnappers. Y'all have a better memory than me on the immediate memory stuff. I'm going to go this week with Jeremiah Smith.
I picked Jeremiah Smith. So,
you did?
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Last
were
week.
wrong.
Last week, yeah.
Yeah, you were wrong.
I don't think I was.
No, I think in everybody's eyes. And everybody left talking about, people left talking about Will Howard. They left talking about Jeremiah Smith. I'm going to go with Jeremiah Smith, a final answer. I just think you could almost make that pick every week now and have a shot.
Yeah, I'm going Travion Henderson, kind of going off my previous prediction for this video, but Travion Henderson averaged 8.1 yards per carry last game.
Yeah, but how many carries did he get?
Yeah, he had 8 carries.
8 carries.
I think he'll have a little bit more than that, and I wouldn't be surprised if he touches that 8 yards per carry mark again. He just looks really explosive right now. He's healthy again, and I wouldn't be surprised if this offensive line connects on a few of those critical blocks where they were just 1 block away from busting a big run open.
Yeah.
I'll go with Will Howard. I think they're really going to light it up this week. It reminds me a little bit of last year when they struggled a little bit against Youngstown State early, and you thought, this offense maybe doesn't have the goods. The very next week, they go 63-10 on Western Kentucky, and it's like, okay, the offense is back to being what it is. Like, I think this week, after last week, putting that on film, not liking what they saw on film, Chip Kelly wasn't happy with the game he called. There were some things that they weren't happy with there in the first half. I think Will Howard's going to come out with his hair on fire. I think he's going to play really well, especially early in the game.
He's going to lead 4 straight scoring drives to start the game, too, right?
You're right. You're absolutely right, Tim, and I think that's what's going to fuel him to be the offensive player of the game. Defensive player of the game.
I'll vote for him if that happens.
Defensive player of the game, Tim.
Defensive player of the game. I picked Tyleik Williams last week because
that's a good pick.
And I thought he had a hell of a game.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Jack Sawyer because Jack Sawyer was so close. I'm going to have that analogy. It's like he was on the video, breaking into the store, so many times, but he didn't quite get to the cash register. I'm thinking he gets to the cash register this week, and the video is going to prove it. I mean, he had a tremendous game for having only 2 assisted tackles.
And
Jack Sawyer, my pick,
and
defensive player of the week.
In any other avenue of life other than football, he would have been arrested for what he did to Ben Finley this week. So
exactly.
Last week.
That's a good point.
There you go.
There's video evidence.
Yeah. Who's your defensive player of the game? And try not to make a burglary joke with him.
Wow, what's wrong with that?
Well, Jordan Hancock stole the ball a lot last year, but I felt like he was a little bit absent. You know, just not in the sense of like didn't do anything last week, but didn't create a takeaway, didn't score a touchdown. You know, a lot of defensive players did a lot of things, and it's not that he didn't play well. It's like Caleb Downs, right? You feel him, but maybe he's not popping on the stat sheet. I think Jordan Hancock's going to show up big time this week, and he'll be quite noticeable against Western Michigan. I don't know how many takeaways he's going to have, but I feel like he's going to get one, and he's my defensive player of the game.
I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to go Kenyatta Jackson, and the reason I'm going Kenyatta Jackson is I think he's on the Rushman package with the ones. He's a defensive end with the twos.
Yeah.
And so it's a little bit of a double dip because he's going to
tackle.
Yeah, he's going to play a lot because they'll have the twos in there. He gets to play on the Rushman.
I like him at defensive tackle.
With the ones, he's fun to watch. He's really energetic. I really like what I'm seeing from him. Like, I thought he played really well on Saturday. I think he's going to follow that up with another good performance. Last year I asked Jim Knowles because they were talking about Kenyatta so much in the lead up to the season. I asked him, I said, Jim, when did it become JT, Jack, and Kenyatta rather than just JT and Jack and then Kenyatta? And he was talking about, and you know, it just never worked out last year to get him on the field. And I think we're creeping closer to that category where he and Caden Curry are like, it's okay, it's the top four and everyone else. It's not just the top two.
You know why it didn't work out? Well, I'm not going to get into that.
Well, we'll talk about it sometime later.
Yeah.
Tim.
They made a big, bold move in the offseason to upgrade their offense, and I think they did. But go ahead.
I'm going to go with Kenyatta Jackson, defensive player of the game. Your score pick, Tim?
I picked 69-3 last week. I felt actually pretty good about that. I thought I was a little conservative, you know?
Yeah.
Because I did liken this to that year when they opened, when they played Rice and Pitt back-to-back and scored over 70. I think it was 1996. I'm going to bring it back the truck up a little bit. I'm going to bring it back down to, because, you know, I watched that Wisconsin game like you guys did, Wisconsin-Western Michigan. I thought Western Michigan looked pretty good on defense, not great, but they revealed themselves defensively because they did switch things up from last year. You heard me ask, was it Chip Kelly and maybe Ryan Day about it earlier this week, having that little bit of an insight into what they're going to be about defensively, I think really helps Chip Kelly and this offense. So I'm going to be a little more conservative. I'm going to go 56-3. Ohio State.
Wow. It's so hilarious that he says that his memory is not good like us young people. And then he goes, you know, in 1996 they played Rice. I'm like, how do you remember that they played Rice 30 years ago?
72-0, 76-3 or something, back to back.
This guy. All right, what's your score pick?
Didn't make a lot of friends.
I'm going back to the 52 number they scored last week. I'm going to say 52-9. A missed extra point in there somehow.
Oh my God.
Western Michigan.
What are we doing?
Hey, we talked a lot of special teams this week.
A block extra point.
Maybe.
For a score.
Maybe.
Oh, there we go.
There you go. 52-9, though. I'm saying for Ohio State, I think that.
Didn't he say 50? Oh, I thought he said 53. Go ahead.
No, 52-9. And look, as you said, Tim, like this Western Michigan team could have a bounce back year in the MAC. Like I actually was looking at their schedule.
Yeah. This ain't the MAC.
They have a lot of returning starters.
Yeah.
A lot of returning starters.
It's not always a good thing in the MAC.
Look, I think they have some capable guys on offense.
Yeah.
Walt Bell is the offensive coordinator. He's kind of bounced around a lot, but
yeah.
Known as a better, younger offensive mind in college football. But again, that won't matter on Saturday, 52-9.
I tell you, P.J. Fleck, when he was there, they played a lot of good offense. They had some good receivers back then. I mean, it was an interesting program. And then, of course, he left for Minnesota. And that's the bad thing about these programs, right? I mean, you you became an Ohio U fan because you went to school there and stuff. It's just when a guy's really good, it's kind of hard to hold on to him. And even when Ohio U had Frank Solich, kind of wore out his welcome, I guess. You know,
no, he just retired. He just retired.
But you know what I mean? It's like it's such a transient kind of like atmosphere in the MAC. And but just like on Saturday, this past Saturday, we didn't know really what Akron was really going to be all about. We kind of thought we did based on what we saw last year, which has nothing to do with who they picked up in the transfer portal and all this kind of stuff. I don't see where Western Michigan has helped itself that much. It's helped itself a little, but that much in the transfer portal. So we'll see on Saturday.
Yeah. Last month I got asked on a radio show in Lima with my Uncle Danny, who's the host of that radio show. If he's watching,
he does a good job. Too.
He does a really good job. If you're in the area, listen to 931's fan. Listen to Danny. And I said that Ohio State will get a shutout this year. It's going to happen Saturday. I'm calling it. Calling my shot.
Well, that's not giving us a score, though.
Last week I said 52-3, and it was 52-6. I was so close. I've never gotten a score prediction right in my 6 years covering this team.
When did Akron score its first field goal?
On the first drive of the game, Tim.
That's why, man.
And that's the only 3 I thought they were going to get.
Yeah.
Not so fast, my friend.
So fast.
It's going to be 59-0. I think Ohio State is really going to make this one count. And guess what? Western Michigan, yes, looked really good against Wisconsin. Do you know why? Because they had a whole offseason to prepare, fresh bodies, and they went in there with a good mindset. They're rationing their food, they're out of bandages, it's starting to snow.
The siege of Kalamazoo.
Yeah, it is not, look, it is hard to play every week of FBS college football. It's even harder when you're a MAC school and you play back-to-back Big Ten opponents.
Did you ever ask Will Casmerick?
Hold on a second. Akron is going to learn that this week when they go play Rutgers, because it is hard to play back-to-back Big Ten opponents.
Yeah.
Western Michigan is also going to learn that this week. It is hard to get up for back-to-back Big Ten teams. Ohio State's going to put a hurting on Western Michigan.
You heard what I asked Will Casmerick on Wednesday when we got to talk to him, the tight end transfer from Ohio University. And I said, it's almost like they tailor-made this schedule for you so you'd feel at home. I mean, 2 straight MAC opponents for Will Casmerick, who transferred from Ohio U playing there last year and stuff. And yeah, I mean, I have respect for every MAC program. I mean, I think it's a really good, decent conference, always has been and stuff. But you're right, that second week, when Ohio State's got the rust off, or whatever you want to call it, and things are clear in their head, and they've got video they can actually watch of the opponent that matters. I'm seeing where you're coming from, but I'm still thinking it's really difficult to get a shutout. Just ask Jack Sawyer and those guys from last year.
It's just a physicality. It's just a different ballgame, and so asking a team like Western Michigan, who's in a rebuild, to go against a Big Ten team for a second straight week and 2 straight physical Big Ten teams in Wisconsin and Ohio State, or in Akron's case, Ohio State and Rutgers, I think that's a tall ask. And so I expect Akron to really
good
struggle.
Paychecks, though. I
expect Akron to really struggle badly against Rutgers this week, and I expect Western Michigan to really struggle against Ohio State in a shutout. And I don't often do that. I did it last year a couple times. You cautioned me. This year, this is the only one I'll do, I promise, unless one of these teams on Ohio State's schedule is really bad.
Just for review, though, our picks are 56-3.
Yeah.
52-9.
And then me, 59-0. Hey, maybe whatever, if we don't see anything else from Michigan's offense, you never know. I might have to pick a shutout for that one, too. No, I'm not going to do that.
Egg.
That's Tim May, the 41-year vet. That's Andy Baxter. I'm Spencer Holbrook. We got to get over to the horseshoe. We're running a little long here. We're going to race over to the horseshoe, cover Ohio State, Western Michigan. You'll see that all on LettermenRow.com. Go to LettermenRow.com right now, and get a membership to Lettermen Row. That's where all of our coverage is. But for now, like this video, subscribe to the YouTube channel. It helps us out tremendously. Allows us to produce more Buckeyes content like this from the Woody Hayes Athletic Center. For Tim, for Andy, I'm just Spencer. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll see you guys over in that big bad horseshoe on Saturday night for a primetime kick between Ohio State and Western Michigan.